Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, it does say we're live.
Okay. I apologize, people, if you've been watching for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Eric and I were going on in technology. As I said in my introduction, I'm John, that franchise guy. Um, I've done 3 or 4 of these, and technology is great, but I'm still getting used to it. I'm certainly not a streaming or audiovisual professional yet. Um, but I appreciate you being here today. I appreciate the opportunity to introduce my friend and mentor and coach, Eric Lofholm. Eric and I go way back, and he's a well-known author, sales trainer, leader, mentor, coach, all of these different things in terms of sales and entrepreneurship and just business operation in general. So, um, Eric, I'll let you tag on to that, introduce yourself, and then we'll get into the topic of the day.
Sure. Well, it's a lot of fun to be here, John. We're talking about increasing capacity, making more sales with AI. And this has been a topic I'm excited to share the things that I'm learning. I've been teaching sales now full time since 1999. I'm in my 27th year. And this is a fun topic because none of us that are watching this right now grew up with AI, right? And so it's a whole new opportunity for us. And it is rapidly changing because of the speed at which the AI can do things. It's also increasing the speed at which change is happening. So there's a lot of opportunity. And I do want to talk about mindset before we get into strategy. But prior to that, I wanted to share something that happened just last night because I have a virtual assistant and I tasked her with creating an AI video clone of me. And so she pings me last night. It's like 9:30 at night. And she goes, "Hey, you want to hop on the app and we can take a look at this." And so we were working on this literally last night at 9:30. It was 11:30 for her. And it looks like me, it sounds like me, but it's an AI version of me. And so we all have the ability to do that. And as you're watching this, you could have a video clone of yourself, and you might end up being cutting edge in your industry. Like there may be nobody currently doing this. Probably eventually a lot of people will do it. So there's a lot of opportunity for innovation. And if you'll embrace this, you can be way ahead of the other people in your industry. And so, John, before we dive into mindset and anything you wanted to share on what I just said.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to, maybe tag a little bit of my introduction. I think I got a little bit off with the technical issues there. But so Eric and I, just for my audience, so we started working together in 2001 and have been working together off and on over that 20 plus years. More recently, got really back engaged, and since the beginning of the year, AI has come up a couple times. And in our last, well, it wasn't our last, it was a couple of meetings back, but 6 weeks or so ago, I got to thinking this would be a really good topic. And I think there's a lot of people out there who, they're not technical in nature, but they're salespeople, or they're starting a business, running a business. They're my people, right? they're people that I talk to every day and follow me on LinkedIn. And I thought this would be something that would offer a lot of benefit to them. So just in terms of framing everything, that's how we got to here. And we're not talking specifically about franchises today, which is kind of fun, actually. So, and I think that's a perfect segue into mindset of using AI, because as you've been talking about it, I've maybe not intentionally, but pushed back a little bit. So, yeah, let's kind of roll with it from there.
Excellent. So when we're looking at mindset, so none of us grew up with AI. So as I'm having these conversations with entrepreneurs all over the world, one of the common things I'm hearing is, Eric, I feel behind. And we're just starting. Nobody's behind, right? If you're watching this right now, you're actually ahead of the game. And so I want you to lose interest in the thought, I'm behind. And then Another thing that I'm hearing a lot of is I feel overwhelmed. Well, we all are faced with the same thing, meaning there's these new apps being introduced every single day and these new things with AI. And the thing is moving so fast that anybody could choose to feel overwhelmed. And so I choose not to feel overwhelmed. I choose to just look for what can I learn today that's going to get me a little bit better at AI? And if I'm living in this thought of I'm overwhelmed, I'm going to feel a certain way. It's kind of like going to Netflix. There's a zillion movies on there, and you can feel overwhelmed, or you can just go find a movie you want to watch and watch it.
Right.
So I invite you to have that. And then lastly, I'm in my 50s. People that are watching this, you're whatever age you are, and a lot of people in my age range, they're like, I'm old school. Okay, well, lose interest in that because you don't want to be old school, and you don't want to miss out on this opportunity to be cutting edge and to innovate and harness the power of these tools because we'll get into increasing capacity. I'll turn it over to John here in a little bit. And then the next thing I want to talk about is increasing capacity because I have a couple of specific examples of my business. One is about writing books, and the other is about creating strategic plans. And AI has accelerated the speed at which my clients are producing this work. And I want to really open up your thinking around what's possible in terms of capacity. So, John, let me turn it over to you for any thoughts you have, and then we can talk about capacity.
Well, I'm just thinking as you use that Netflix analogy, my wife keeps a log of because there's too much, right? There's too many tools and too many. So in our world, or what we're talking about, there's too many tools out there to keep track of. So, I'm thinking I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to tell me how to organize all the different AI tools that are out there. I think that's something that, to your point, needs to be embraced, and maybe start with one, right? Just pick a place to start and embrace it, start using it, rather than being overwhelmed and just not going anywhere with it.
Yeah, a thought could be true, but speaking it doesn't help in some cases. For example, if I'm coaching somebody and I say, "What do you want help with?" and they go, "I want help with sleeping. I want to get to bed earlier." I go, "Okay, well, tell me what's going on."
Right.
And they go, "Well, I know I need to go to bed earlier, but I never do it." Okay. So the question is, does that thought, I know I need to go to bed earlier, but I never do it, does that help us go to bed earlier? No.
No.
So why not just lose interest in it? Right. Some people say, every time I go on a diet, I cheat. That thought, you go, but it's true. Yeah, it's true because you're speaking it and you're living into that reality. And so
Right.
I'm old school. Even if you're like, I am old school, it doesn't produce a result in AI that's going to help you. Living in the thought I'm overwhelmed. But Eric, I do feel overwhelmed. Okay, pivot and look at a different way of thinking about it because you don't have to live in the idea of overwhelm. I'm in AI every day being introduced to all this quote unquote overwhelming stuff, but I'm not overwhelmed because I
I
choose not to look at it in that way. It's just like, let me find what's going to serve me. And I'll just start with the next tool, whatever that is. My next tool right now is the AI avatar of me, the video AI version of Eric Lofholm. And so I want to talk with you about increasing capacity. And I want to give you an example. And this is something John can relate with because I taught John how to become a published author. And yep, there's his book right there. And I've done this for many, many years. And John was one of probably less than 15% of my clients that I've taught the strategy of writing a book as a credibility piece, right? You become an authority, an expert, a thought leader, if you will, when you're a published author. And so I teach this to lots and lots of people. And less than 15% of the people that I actually land the strategy with take action and do it.
Yep.
And it's not the easiest of a lift, right? It's not super hard, but there are some things that can, get people to stumble. And John got to the finish line. Awesome. Well, now I teach how to write a book in a day with ChatGPT. And so what happened last month, 4 of my clients published, and that's highly unusual to have 4 different clients publish in a single month. Not only did 4 publish, 10 others are close to publishing. And what happened was you go into ChatGPT and you can tell it, I want to write a book called 21 Ways to Close More Sales Now, my area of expertise. And then I tell Chat, I ask it, give me a list of 21 different strategies. And then a few seconds later, it produces it. Then strategy number 1, let's say, has to do with goal setting. Write me 1,000 words on the chapter about goal setting. And then 2 minutes later, there it is. So what's available now is I've been saying for decades, tortoise in the hare, slow and steady wins the race. And I've lived that philosophy. And if you get to know me, you'll see I just keep taking action like the tortoise. Okay. I am the tortoise. However, with AI, you can be the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah.
I've never said that before until recently.
I haven't.
And so we have to learn a whole new way of thinking. Yeah. Tell me your thoughts on that, John.
Well, I'm just sorry to jump in there, but this book in 2017, I mean, I know the course was basically all day long. I think it was a Saturday, it went from, 9 to 5 or whatever. And yeah, I got a bunch done during that time frame, but there was a lot of prep work to get it ready. And then of course, editing and post-production took months getting, stuff designed. And I can't even imagine. And then when I did the updated version 2 years ago in 2023, that's now my actually 3rd edition, it still took me, weeks just to update content and edit. And I can't even imagine what ChatGPT is doing to, expedient.
Well, to put that in perspective,
yeah,
we had a client do the write a book in a day with ChatGPT. Class was on Thursday. Okay. John, he uploaded the book on Saturday and it was live on Amazon on Tuesday. Okay. So like you labored through this thing and it took several months and you got it to the finish line, which is amazing because hardly any of my clients actually get it to the finish line, but you did. Now this guy comes along, he came to class with an idea. He didn't even know the exact book. He just had an idea. He went from idea to concept to completion to publishing within a couple of days.
Right.
Okay. And this is not only for books, this is for so many things that you can do in your business that you never would have been able to do before. And this is the challenge for people that want to ignore what I'm saying. And it's not about me. It's just ignoring the opportunity with AI. There's absolutely going to be people in your industry that are going to embrace it. And they're going to go, shoot, if this is going to make me 10 times more effective, I'm going to do it. And then you're over here going, I'm old school. I'm overwhelmed. I don't want to deal with this. I'll just do it how I've always done it, which is fine. But when you're going up against somebody like me, who's working at this thing every single day, like you don't want to compete against me if you're going to put your head in the sand. Forget me. It's not about me. It's about your competitors who are going to lean into this thing.
Right.
And the future right now, I don't have my pulse in this yet, but it's AI agents where you're getting AI to text your prospects for you, phone your prospects, have an actual conversation. I had a client the other day. He was researching buying a car. He was choosing to buy it out of state, and he called up the dealership and he started having a conversation with this woman named Barbara. And so that was on the weekend. And then he called the dealership on Monday and he goes, yeah, I was talking to Barbara over the weekend. And they go, who? I was talking to Barbara at the dealership and she told me to call back on Monday. And they go, oh, that's our AI. He didn't even know it was AI, right? So these AI agents, they're already out there and they're going to become a part of business. And so
Right.
we want to not, I invite you to not be afraid of it. It can be scary, but I invite you not to be afraid and just learn about it and be open.
So the book is a fantastic example because I think it's something that people can think about, "Oh, that's overwhelming." It was before you and I initially talked about it, and condensing something, 8 years ago back into something that was doable was huge. Now, it's tangible, people get it. We've talked about something, that so I've used ChatGPT just very, very high level, but I think we start getting into programming it, and you've talked about something called a prompt engineer. So talk a little bit about how you use that to really begin to take deeper dive and get more out of the AI.
Yeah, there's a bunch of layers to this thing.
Mhm.
And there's a thing in Chat GPT, and they might have a similar one in Gemini and Gronk. I haven't worked with those. I'm focused right now on Chat GPT. But on the sidebar, there is let me just be able to tell you exactly the right place to look. So on the sidebar of Chat GPT, there is four dots in a square, and it says GPTs, the letter G, the letter P, the letter T, the letter S. It's on the sidebar on the left. And so when you click that, it's going to open up a place where there's a new search bar, and you search prompt engineer. And so what the prompt engineer is you're going to hear this with AI. It's all about the prompt, right? Well, none of us grew up with AI, so it's not like we're prompt experts.
Right.
And so prompt engineer is a GPT that will take a regular person's prompt, like you or I would write. Like I might do a prompt. I'd like to set goals for the next 6 months. Can you help me with my goal setting? So that's how I might write it. And then I go into prompt engineer and I tell it, improve my prompt. And then I put in my prompt. And then prompt engineer is a GPT that's designed to improve the prompt. And so it'll give you a new prompt, way better than the one I came up with. And then you copy that and then you paste it back into the regular Chat GPT, not the prompt engineer. And it'll give you a far superior answer. And when I learned that, I was like, whoa, now I'm instantly a better prompter.
Right.
And any of you listening, you could be like, I've never even heard of prompt engineer. You could take what I just taught you and you'll instantly be better at prompting.
Yeah, that single thing, if you've played around with ChatGPT a little bit and found it interesting but not super effective, like, the way I use it is probably just like Google 2.0, right? I mean, it just is it's helpful, but just a layer beyond that. But some of these tools that we're talking about are taking it, 6, 8, 10 generations beyond, I think, and it's probably changing daily. So, yeah, that's awesome. So tell me a little bit more about you talked a little bit about the video and the AI Eric. Talk about video and AI because I think, I'll say most of us watching probably have at least played around with ChatGPT, but it doesn't do video unless you're, I think, maybe a paid subscriber or something. I don't know. But talk about, more about that than I do.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of apps out there that essentially can clone you. And the problem with video, if you or I were going to shoot video, it's like, how much experience do you have where the camera's on you, right? Probably most of you, not a whole lot. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's an issue of being able to like deliver your script effectively and how many takes do you have to do. And you got to get the videographer to come to your office or your house or whatever. You got to shoot it yourself. You're dealing with lighting issues. Creating quality video is not an easy lift. And I've done a lot of video in my life, and it's still not easy for me. So with the AI cloning, there's certain videos that you can do that nobody's going to care that's an AI clone. For example, what I just taught you about prompt engineer, right? It's
Yeah.
not AI. John and I are actually here. We're talking to you live,
Right.
okay? But that idea of prompt engineer, if I said to all of you, we don't have time for me to teach you prompt engineer. Now, I already taught it to you a minute ago, but let's just say we were pressed for it. I don't have time to teach it to you. However, I had my AI clone do a 7-minute video that walks you step by step through exactly how to do it. And this will instantly make you a better prompter. If you want the video, reach out to me and I'll send it to you. So you reach out to me and I send you the video. And I told you up front it's my AI clone. You don't care. You
Right.
want the piece of content on a prompt engineer. So there's certain things that it doesn't matter that it's AI. So when you're onboarding a client, for example, some of you have businesses, you make a sale to somebody and you need to onboard the client. You could have the client onboarded with a custom GPT, and we can talk about that in a little bit. You could have it onboarded with a set of instructions. So you have chat GPT create like written instructions. You could have a video. And so it's like 5 1-minute videos that your AI avatar does. And so it's like, hi, I'm, Eric's AI and I'm here. You're a brand new client. And Eric wanted me to walk you through how to get the most value from your experience together. You as a client, you don't care
Right.
that it's AI. You just want, okay, what's the information, how to have the best experience possible. So now I've got a VA and I'm getting her trained on how to do it. So now I'll just literally send my VA an email and say, here's the script. This is what I want. Produce the video. And then I pay her VA fees. And then boom, she sends me a completed video. Talk about increasing capacity.
Yeah.
I could be doing 1 or more videos a day where I'm leveraging the AI for the video and the VA to train the AI in what to do. And now I've got my video.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And that can be huge for you, John. You
Yeah.
can do so much with an AI, that franchise guy, and a YouTube channel, and all kinds of things. As you're educating somebody about owning a franchise, and you can say, hey, I put together this 12-minute course, and my AI video version of me put the course together. This is going to teach you all about the process of learning how to buy a franchise. And they're like, oh, that'd be amazing.
I've been taking notes myself here, and I'm sure I'll rewatch this. And it pains me because I think I sound terrible and look terrible and make all kinds of interviewer mistakes. But the content from you, I'm going to be rewatching this. So I know you said there are tools and apps out there. Is there a specific one that you use or like? Can you do that through ChatGPT? What can you use to use the video?
Yeah, I'll tell you this is a real practical one that any of you could go do this one today. So the website is instaheadshots.com. Instaheadshots.com. So any of you listening right now, you might have a reason to get an updated headshot, right? For your social media or for your website. And the problem with it is now you got to, hire a photographer, and they're going to charge you a couple $100. You got to block out half a day, hair and makeup or whatever, and so, and then it, takes, a couple weeks, whatever, for the photographer to turn it around. And so instaheadshots.com, here's how this works, John. For $69, you upload like photos from Facebook. And they don't need to be like perfect photos. They can literally just be photos off your iPhone or whatever phone you have. And you put up like 10 photos, $69, so less than the cost of a photo shoot. 15 minutes later, 200 looks. Okay. So on mine, I'm in suits I don't own.
Right.
I've got backgrounds that don't exist. And so I use these photos because they're current updated photos. And of course, AI makes you look as good as you can possibly look. Right. And so I showed it to my wife and she's like, I want that. And so I went and got it for her. And it's just as a gag, because you got 200 looks. You can actually make yourself be a doctor or a nurse or a teacher. So
I was going to say, can you add filters like, make me look like the Tiger King or Gordon Gekko or what?
You probably have that too. This one's just more focused on how you actually look, but the clothing, it can change the clothing. And so it's like, wow, you don't need to know anything about AI. You just go to instaheadshots.com.
Okay.
You put in your credit card, $69, 200 looks, and they have a cheaper version as well. And so there's all these tools out there. And what's great about that one is it's a fraction of the cost of a headshot with multiple versions, and it's instant. And this is the tortoise and the hare. A
Yep.
photo shoot would probably take 2 to 4 weeks to get the thing turned around. And here you get it in 15 minutes at a fraction of the cost. And we start looking at the different ways that we can do that. And I just learned this stuff, John, one idea at a time. I refuse to say I'm overwhelmed. I get whatever I get. Like if I'm in an AI class, I'll call what we're doing right now a class. So I'm sitting in an AI class. I'm not going to probably understand all of it. So my goal is not to understand all of it. My goal is to learn something new.
Yep.
So if they talk over my head, I don't care. Did I learn something new? Like the prompt engineer that I shared earlier, I learned that in one of my AI classes, right? So I just go to class, I learn this stuff, implement it. I choose not to be overwhelmed, and I just keep getting better.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know. I think I think this may have been on my intro that was before we actually clicked the proper on button, but in this area of business especially, you have to be open to being a student as much as, becoming knowledgeable on it. It's changing so fast, even if you are somewhat advanced on it, tomorrow you might not be if you're not keeping up. And I do think it's important to take that one tool at a time, grasp it, don't worry about mastering it, right? But get get comfortable with it and then move on to the next one. And so, as we go through this, I know you could probably talk about this all day, and I appreciate your time. So I'll try and keep us moving. But we had talked a little bit about something called custom GPT. Talk a little bit about how, as you drill down in the whole AI area, what is that, and how do you use that?
Yeah. So you have the ability in Chat GPT to create a memory and put in specific knowledge. So, for example, I have a custom GPT where I've uploaded my books. So you can upload a file like a Word doc, PowerPoint document, a PDF. And so in my custom GPT, I think it's called Eric Lofholm Voice Assistant or something. And so I put all these books, I put all these transcripts, and I tell it who I am. And so now when I go in and I interact with it, it's interacting based on a core group of knowledge that I've trained it with. So there's that aspect where you can create a custom GPT and train it on who you are. You can put your goals in there, your mission statement, your values. You can tell, about your life. And then when you're interacting with it, it has that knowledge. Because like regular GPT, it's not going to know, all this other stuff, right? It's going to give you different answers. That's the first application. The second one, which is very interesting in my business, is I do these planning classes twice a year, and I teach entrepreneurs how to create a 6-month or 12-month strategic plan. And I've been doing it for 20 plus years. And like the books where I shared, John was one of about 50% of my clients that actually gets it done. People come to class and only a small percentage complete the assignment by sending me their strategic plan. So yesterday, John, I do the class. We're in June, so it's for the middle of the year. We're planning out the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And I had my AI developer create a custom GPT. So when you go into this thing, it has questions that are pre-created. So you press the button, say, start your journey, and they press the button, and then it says, what do you sell? And then you answer it, and how long have you been selling? And you answer it. It has these questions. And then after it finishes the questions like a survey, it says, here's your 6-month strategic plan.
Wow.
It's like, wait, what? So I had 20 people in class yesterday, John, email me their completed plan. So this is a 2-part class. Yesterday was class 1. 20 of the students successfully sent me their plan. We haven't even gotten to class 2 yet because of this custom GPT. So there's a lot of different applications of this, and one of them is onboarding a new client. So you send them this GPT, and they will go through and answer these questions, and it can spit out a report, and there's all these different things that you can do with it. And so For right now, you might have understood what I said or like not quite got it, but just know that there's ways of customizing Chat GPT. And I don't know how to create it yet, but I'm learning. So I'm going to learn how I can create these custom GPTs, and I can teach them to my clients. I can use them in all kinds of aspects of my business, because right now I got to hire a guy, but I don't want to have to hire him.
Well, I guess if you think about, what AI and ChatGPT is doing is it's grabbing in ultimate speed all these different pieces of the universe and piling them together. So what sounds like to me you're doing is you're training it specifically to focus on this, sphere of things. So yeah, and obviously our program today is about introducing these ideas and waking up to them to some extent, more than it is getting into the nitty gritty and nuts and bolts. That'll be another class for another day, or maybe once you figure it out, you can teach me and I'll talk
There
about
you
it.
go.
Yeah, that's. But yeah, I mean, amazing stuff that's out there. So as you go down that path of some of these other tools, and extrapolating a lot, beyond the custom GPT, talk a little bit about how you're using, transcripts or files with the Chat GPT.
Yeah. So whether you're using the regular Chat GPT or the customized one, one of the amazing things about it is you can upload a file. So I can upload a 200-page book, and I upload it, and then I do a prompt on ChatGPT, and I say, I'm getting ready to teach a seminar this weekend. Pull out the 10 best ideas to increase sales from my book to create an outline for my seminar. And within like 1 minute, it like reads through all 200 pages, it analyzes it, it sorts it, and then it goes, here you go. Here's your best ideas. So there's a lot of ways to utilize this. If any of you are doing sales calls,
Mhm.
and let's say I say to a prospect, I'm doing discovery with them. I'll give you a real world example. I had a discovery the other day. Companies doing 42 million in revenue. They want to go to 250 million. And so they're looking for some help. So I said, her name is Carrie. I said, Carrie, can I record our Zoom conversation? It's our discovery call, and it'll help me with the proposal. And she goes, yeah, sure, go ahead. I don't care. So I'm doing discovery with her. I record it, and then I get a transcript. So then I upload the transcript into ChatGPT, and I say, I need to create a proposal for Carrie, write the proposal. 11 seconds later, it's going to give me a better proposal than would have taken me an hour. So one of the terms you'll hear with AI is use cases, right? So that's a use case, a discovery call that you record, you upload the transcript, you ask it for a proposal. It's not about that use case. It's about the idea that you can upload a file, a transcript, a PDF, and your brain will come up with stuff I never even would have told you. You'll be like, oh, I'm a teacher and I'm grading these papers, and I have the paper in a Word doc. The student submitted it. And so let me ask ChatGPT, how would you grade this paper? And it's like, okay, I would take hours to read this thing, and now ChatGPT can give me a high quality grade on the paper that's legitimate, it's authentic, and I can review it and see if I agree. And so I don't work with teachers, so
Right.
unless they're in sales, you'll come up with your own ways. Now that I'm planting a seed about the files, and I'll give you one other idea. And John, this is something we can incorporate into our future coaching calls. Is we transcribe the coaching call, put it into a custom GPT called, John's Mastermind Partner. And we, on our next 10 calls, all those calls are uploaded into the custom GPT. And then we say, okay, analyze the last 10 coaching calls that we've done and generate the 5 highest quality ideas based on John's future goals. Right. And it's going to analyze it. It's going to see stuff that you and I never would have seen because it's so smart. And so it's there's going to be all these different ways that any of you that are listening will be, oh, wow, I could use it here and I could use it there. But if you have your head in the sand, you're like, well, I'm overwhelmed and I'm old school,
Yeah.
you're going to miss out.
Well, I hope the takeaway today, and we have a couple more points to hit on before we wrap up, but I hope the takeaway today is you've mentioned that a couple times, is don't let this overwhelm you. Break it up into, manageable pieces and concepts and tools, and just get comfortable with one at a time. Pick one, right? I mean, you've already talked about 4 or 5 things that, I mean, I'm writing notes down fast and furious, and hopefully people watching are too, but pick one. Just pick one and get comfortable with it, and then move on to the others, right?
And here's the thing about the overwhelm. Okay. You're not unique in feeling overwhelmed. Every human being on the planet is going to feel overwhelmed by this stuff. So now the question is, do I choose to lean into the overwhelm, or do I just go, oh, this is just a part of AI? Some of
Yeah.
the stuff I'm not going to get. Eric's talking about custom GPT. I got no idea what he's talking about. And that might be true. Here's the thing, though. Are you learning something?
Yep.
Right? See, if you're learning something, train your brain to not focus on the need to get it, right? Like sometimes I think that's how we are. Well, I need to understand. It takes time to understand this stuff. I'm in these AI classes and they're talking about stuff, and someone's just like, whoop, I have no
Yep.
idea what they're talking about. But then I pick up a nugget, right? So I don't focus on what I don't understand. And we're all in the same boat. There's no master of AI on the planet. I mean, maybe there's like two human beings that are like the masters of it. But outside of that, everyone else is learning. We're all in the same boat. And so just let go of the thought of overwhelm. Forget old school. You're like, but Eric, I feel old school. It doesn't help you to lean into that thought.
Yeah.
It's like me saying, my wife and I are always arguing. That thought doesn't help me, even if it's true.
Right.
Forget that. No, my wife and I are working on how to get along better.
Love
And
it.
focus on ways of getting along. It's optimistic viewpoint. Instead of being stuck in the problem, let me make some progress out of the problem. And this is a very important mindset, because if you stay with I'm old school and I'm overwhelmed, you're going to miss it.
Yeah, I think that, and I think this is a good I know there's more stuff we could talk about. We've gone about 40 minutes already. I think this is the perfect place to kind of put a bow on things for today, because I think that's the most important takeaway, is embrace this stuff.
Yep.
And I definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing some insights, and helping people at least see some of the things that are possible out there. Um, Take a minute and tell people how they can get a hold of you. Um, you know, Again, Eric's been sales coach of mine for 24-ish years off and on. And even after I've moved here to Oklahoma and everything else, we've continued to work together. And so I know sales training groups, individuals. He's got books. Tell them a little bit about how they can get a hold of you, and
Sure. I'm excited about this conversation we're having. So if you work for a company and you would like this conversation, I will do one on the house. I'll come and do probably a Zoom, right? So if you're a part of a company and you like, hey, this conversation is awesome. Wait, you'll do this for free one time? Yes. Okay, that's first thing. Second thing, I'm having a whole pivot in my sales coaching business to incorporate in AI with increasing sales, because this is not only the future, it's the present. So if you're interested in having somebody work with you one-on-one, guide you to be cutting edge, let's you and I have a conversation. And the way to find me, I'm the only Eric Lofholm on the planet. You can see my number on the screen there, so, my name. And so if you Google me, that's me. There's literally not one other Eric Lofholm in the world. I have a unique name. And so I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. My
right.
website, you can find me. Just Google me. It's all over. So just reach out to me if you like to connect, and we can have a conversation. And my hope is you'll learn something today. That was the whole idea.
Absolutely. No, I definitely appreciate it. And yes, ericlofholm.com. I know you have several websites too. And, it's unfortunately, I can't say the same thing about John Anderson, because there's several million of us, I think. And so that franchise guy is much easier to find. And if you go to linkedin.com/that franchise guy, I pop right up. Throw John Anderson in there, you're taking a risk. So, um, Yeah, awesome, Eric. Again, I appreciate it so much. All of you today watching who took the time, whether it's recorded or watching us live, I definitely appreciate the time you took, and you can reach franchise related questions for sure if you have them. I'm at thatfranchiseguy.com, Eric Lofholm, or ericlofholm.com for more information on any of his programs, the AI presentation. What I mean, amazing offer to do a talk for free to groups. So hopefully, you guys, some of you will take them up on that. Eric, thanks again. Awesome. Thanks everybody for watching today. We sure appreciate it.
Thanks, John.